Hi, everyone. Welcome to Club Rats. My name is John.
I'm Jesiah.
Faraz.
Major development in the NBA. Faraz, I don't know if you want to. You were going to segue to
Yeah,
that.
yeah. If you want to start for us, tell us what's going on in
Give
the
us the
NBA.
background and then the actual.
Yeah, where it started and what's happening.
Well, the big,
investigation.
if you haven't been paying attention to the seismic story that's come out yesterday, it feels like the news cycle.
Just yesterday, yeah.
It feels like it's been
24
ongoing
hours.
because there's been
Yeah.
there's been so much response and back and forth since it broke. So when Pablo Torre reported on his podcast Wednesday morning, that after an investigation that the LA Clippers were accused of engaging in salary cap circumvention by Kawhi Leonard agreeing to terms with a company that was
Shell company?
partly funded by Steve Ballmer,
The Clippers
owner.
Gazillionaire, Microsoft office guy.
Seventh richest man in the world.
Richest guy in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
Richest guy in all professional sports. And so, basically, that Kawhi was getting paid off the books and then to do work, no-show job is what.
In parlay with his Clippers contract.
Correct.
So he's essentially getting
at least $28 million.
At least
yes.
$28 million, but actually, as you were mentioning off the record earlier, there is reporting that indicates that it could be
up to $50
up
million.
to $48 to $50 million, because there might be another deal that was signed. And in addition, the Torre report started because 7 anonymous former employees from the company Aspiration had reached out and indicated that it was the company's utmost priority to make sure that Kawhi was getting paid, even as the company was undergoing, or they were going through financial stresses. And this is a company that also had on its roster of celebrity endorsers Leonardo DiCaprio, Drake.
So it was somewhat of a legitimate company at first?
It was, but that even if it was legitimate, that's not really the
issue.
The issue, and that's the funny part that I keep hearing about. When Mark Cuban jumped to Steve Ballmer's defense yesterday, is that Ballmer got scammed, and this company was,
Cuban came to Ballmer's defense.
Yeah.
Which their owners are going to stick
together. Yeah, same. They fly together, right?
Yeah.
And
Here,
basically,
I'll find his tweet as you're saying it.
The fraudulent activity or illegality of that company on its own isn't really the issue that's germane to what's going on in the NBA. The issue is that there was a off the book, or not necessarily off the books, but there was a
separate entity
payment. And you can, if they're able to directly draw the line back from to Ballmer, it's basically cap circumvention.
It looks really bad because essentially, you could in the NBA, are teams underpaying these guys or paying them less in contract on the NBA side of it.
So they
and then I'm the owner of this company, and then I hire, I pay this guy essentially not under the table because it's still a legal entity, but it's still a comprehensive payment where. How much money did Kawhi make last year? He got the max deal in the NBA, and then he gets his potentially another $28 million on top. That can't be for example, to make it more illustrated, it would be like the Fords. Goff is being paid as the starting quarterback for the Lions, and then Ford Motor Company is paying Goff to put cars together on the assembly line.
Yeah.
$50 million or whatever.
Yeah.
You can't do that. That's from an integrity standpoint. It's also bad for the NBA. There's also a lot of the betting on the NBA. There's are players diving? Is Malik Beasley being was he fixing a game?
Yeah.
This doesn't help that narrative.
Yeah.
It's another kind of shady looking side payment. It just doesn't look good.
It basically looks like there is no system of fair play.
Yeah.
Especially in this case, the Kawhi Leonard story is particularly interesting because when he was a free agent.
Raptors.
After the Raptors championship. But, that was widely expected that he was going to be leaving Toronto and especially going to go ahead.
It could have been the Lakers, it could have been the Clippers.
Well, that's the whole thing. Is it was speculated that, there's the Lakers and the Clippers, and it's if you're the Lakers, it would be probably really infuriating if you find this out now. Not that the Lakers are hurting for star power by any means, but the fact is that they never had a chance.
They were at a competitive disadvantage.
Yeah, they were at a
whatever.
Yes, so every team has their own contracts with these companies. What's questionable is Steve Ballmer is an investor in this company. If Steve Ballmer had no ties to this aspirations company,
totally different.
I don't think
then that's just a regular endorsement.
Because most of these players want to play in these big markets to get more endorsements. Yeah. It was reported the Raptors had $14 million of endorsements lined up with their team if he stayed with the Raptors.
Yeah.
Again, who knows what Kawhi's first contract was with the Clippers and what Steve Ballmer had lined up. Clearly, there was more financial obligations behind closed doors.
This is almost kind of like the NIL thing.
Yeah.
Now that NIL is legal, everybody can pay. But like back, 10 years ago when Saban and maybe George, a handful of teams were paying, it gives you a competitive advantage. Well, and you're able to get a player, and it changes history.
The reason this is a gigantic deal is that this is what the CBA is for. The Correct. CBA was collectively bargained to, dictate how much you can pay a player. And because they wanted to keep market conditions fair.
Let's be real, too. The bigger markets are going to have advantages in these situations.
No question.
Milwaukee and, Atlanta. Well, Atlanta's not small, but what's another small? Charlotte. The Hornets. I mean, they don't have that same advantage.
Charlotte's actually has,
that's kind of messed up,
Mr. Beast Company, Beast or whatever it's called. They have his company. That's Charlotte's sponsor.
Yeah.
That's the patch on the jersey. It's ridiculous. Having those comparisons, right? Speaking back to Mark Cuban, this was his tweet. I'm on Team Ballmer. As much as I wish they circumvented the salary cap, first, Steve isn't that dumb. If he did try to feed Kawhi Leonard money knowing what was at stake for him personally and his team, do you think he will let the company go bankrupt? Knowing all creditors will be visible to the world. They got scammed by aspiration, along with many others, crimes for which they pleaded guilty to last week. Scammers do scammy things. They did a $300 million sponsorship deal with the Clippers in 2021. That's a huge deal. He says a few other things. But fast forward, later that night, early this morning, Mark Cuban went on Rory's podcast. So that should be coming out soon. So we'll see
the back and forth.
What evidence Rory is going to show Mark Cuban. Who's Mark Cuban really in this sense? He has no dog in the fight, but he is an owner, and he might be fighting for Ballmer because he could be doing shit like that.
But Cuban does understand the ins and outs of the NBA.
Yeah,
maybe better than anybody. Yeah. He knows it cold. I mean,
but the thing is, Pablo Torre's he's a really smart dude. Like this story was not,
Well, that's the thing I don't like about this. Ballmer's a smart guy. All these guys are pretty intelligent. Like, you can't be that naive to think, I pay Kawhi Leonard whatever the max is in the NBA.
Yeah, it's like
and then it's like we have another company over here that I'm the main guy that owns it, and I'm paying him another 28. Like, you can't be that daft to say there's going to be a problem here.
Him being the new owner, I do think some other owners in the league told him hey, this is how we do shit.
That's the next question.
And that's Mark Cuban. I mean, he might be friends with him. James Dolan is getting investigated now.
Is this going on with a lot of the teams in the NBA? Because this could be really bad.
I mean,
is it are 50% of the teams doing this in the NBA?
I highly doubt that it's an isolated incident.
I would imagine the owners that have less money. Who's the poorest owner in the NBA? The Pelicans owner?
I'll Google it right now.
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
That's a good question.
Because I feel like Ballmer, for him,
I'm guessing it might be the Pelicans.
$28 million is like nothing.
It's nothing. So
he doesn't care. But like some of these other teams, like the Lakers owner, her money source was the Lakers.
There was I read a little snippet in an article. It was like, so I think Kawhi Leonard's contract extension, or it was like $150 million over 2 or 3 years, something like that. And so they were just trying to put into perspective of how much money Steve Ballmer has. Oh. And it was like, if he wanted to hire 1,000 Kawhi Leonards at that rate, he would still have $173 billion left over.
It's insane.
It's just like that.
The money's endless. There's not.
It's at that point. It's not even a concept.
And Ballmer's a guy. God knows what he makes in interest a day in money that he has invested.
Yeah.
Just owning the Clippers alone, when he bought them, if he were to resell them, they doubled. Now I will say this: leave it to the Clippers. Only they could cheat this
Yeah.
Think about that.
Their return on
literally
investment, their ROI is
like
horrible.
you could lose your stake in the team for literally no reason, no really great reason.
Yeah.
Because they're not close to winning a championship.
Kawhi has 2 no-show jobs, technically.
Yes,
the 3 in the NBA. Also, poorest owners in the NBA is actually the Holt family that owns the Spurs. They're the poorest owners. And then number 2 is...
Poorest. I think that's just funny terminology.
Yeah. And then...
they are, though. If you
least wealthy.
how much are they... No, but compared to Ballmer, they almost are poor.
Yeah, I guess. In that
how much are they worth?
So the team is valued around $3.7 billion.
Well, that's
but they're... Again, it fluctuates, but it says they range around the $200 million mark.
Wow.
So they're not even billionaires.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're only worth 200 million. 200 million.
Only $200 million.
No, but Ballmer's worth, you said 10 billion?
174 billion.
So, they are, that's a big gap.
And then the second is...
He could buy them over.
200 million. I feel like there are players in the NBA that are worth more than that.
So it was signed in 2021. But the team's valued at $4 billion.
Yeah, the team's value.
You could say the same thing about the Lakers. Jeannie Buss didn't have this organization.
That's true.
Her wealth was the Lakers. Now she's a billionaire because she sold them for $10 billion, right?
Yeah.
Before that, I don't think she had $1 billion in a bank account anywhere.
The nest egg was the
Maybe
Lakers.
she did though. The Lakers.
The Lakers are the Lakers.
Yeah.
So one of the
second least wealthy team, or the owners. It's a group of them that own the 76ers because there's a whole bunch of them. So as a collective. They don't have anywhere near as much money, so they're the second.
But that doesn't count though because it's just like
it's a whole collection.
It's like 10 billionaires owning a team.
Yeah.
Yes. Essentially.
They might have the most money if you.
If you actually add all their net worth up,
Yeah.
The Pistons owner's worth like 10 billion.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
He's like Platinum LLC. It's like a real estate firm.
Everybody, they're all.
He's a billionaire.
Because this is their sports teams are the status objects for these super rich is that they all want to have
This could though, depending on what comes out of this, and if there are more teams, this is not a good image for the NBA.
Oh, it's like what you were saying off camera, John. If this happened in the 70s, we get
you kind of
They're
expect
also
it.
on cocaine.
Yeah.
They were doing a lot of shit in the 70s, right? 80s and 90s. But nowadays, with the way shit is, it's wild that they still think they could get away with it.
It is crazy.
They already had the Joe Smith thing. So that's why
20 years ago,
there's like the precedent for any what is
I don't know what the Joe Smith thing is.
Oh no?
Please elaborate for the audience.
Yeah.
Well,
let's go.
Back in the early, I think it was like 2001 or early 2000s. It was the Minnesota Timberwolves basically had a handshake agreement with Joe Smith to essentially, we'll pay you this contract and we'll give you this much money under the table. So it seems like you're only agreeing to this much, but in reality you're getting paid this much. I don't remember the exact number.
So to elaborate more on that, he agreed to sign for the league minimum so he could sign to the team. They said once that contract's over, we'll have your bird rights and we'll sign you for X amount of money later on. Seems like good negotiation tactics to me, but that's illegal in the NBA. You can't promise a guy, sign less now and I'll pay you double what you're worth 3 years later when they have their bird rights. Bird rights allowed the teams to go over the salary cap to give them more.
How do they prove that?
They had already traded. They had already traded for Joe Smith.
I think it was his agent. He tried getting a similar deal for another one of his guys, if I remember correctly. I think that's how they found out.
It ended up resulting in former owner, now former owner, Glenn Taylor, being suspended by the NBA for a year, and 5 first-round draft picks.
That was the penalty from that? Because that seems way less worse than this.
Yes.
Because promising an employee you're going to pay him more
later on.
Companies do that all the time.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
You're not allowed to do that's a blatant no-no in the NBA.
I understand, but that
he was
happens
signing for way less.
Paying somebody, I give you 50, and then my other company gives you 20. That to me is way worse.
They're both essentially the same thing.
They're both bad.
They're both because the thing is they're both trying to provide extra money outside of the purview of the CBA.
Correct. You're trying to give them more than you're allowed to under the salary.
And also
the salary
at that time, he was signing for way less than his
value. But if Joe
value.
Smith blew his knee out and retired, they're not going to give him another contract. They gave the money to Kawhi. The money's in hand.
Yeah.
So that's why I say it's worse.
That's what, and the other
money's
part
in hand already. Promising you is different than giving you the actual money.
It also happened so early on in the Joe Smith case that they were able to void the contract.
Yeah,
and everything
contract was voided.
And I also, this matters in the NBA. Kawhi could have stayed in Toronto and
won
a title. They could have won back. I mean, Joe Smith is not the player that Kawhi is.
Not
Kawhi is an all-time. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
If he died today, so
and he was
that's a big deal.
His free agency was a big deal.
Yeah. No, he could have picked teams. If he went to a different team, they could have won a championship.
Yeah.
Well, we saw with the Raptors. Hey, he went to the Raptors.
It was a rental.
As a 1-year rental, and they won.
Yeah.
Granted, the Raptors are also they had the foundation to do something special. They were missing that 1A guy.
Well, I mean, they rolled the dice and it paid off.
It does hurt the integrity of the sport.
Absolutely.
Which is bad for the NBA. That kind of, I mean, we're NBA fans, but the NBA doesn't have the most positive view in every circle. So this just kind of adds to that. Yeah. If I was going to be negative on the NBA.
Yeah. No, that makes absolute sense. But it'll be, there is going to be some fallout, it looks like. I don't know.
If you got rid of the salary cap, this wouldn't be an issue.
Yes, but that won't happen until...
Yeah. Because baseball, I mean, all that happens with the Yankees, the Tigers say, we can only give you 100. Well, the Yankees say, well, here's 110. So you get an extra 10 million. They don't have to pay you 10 million outside of another shell company or whatever.
But I mean, even in baseball, that system seems to be starting to strain too, because now they're talking about re-implementing a cap.
They tried that. Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
He wasn't happy with it.
He wasn't happy with it.
He basically said, "Get the f out of here," to Rob Manfred. Get out of our locker room. Yeah. Because if you're a player, you want a free market because you want to. He got.
You want to play.
What did he get? Like what was his deal with the Phillies? 300 to 400 million. Yeah, I mean, if it's a salary cap, you may not get that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're gonna. That's so. If you're a player, you want. In the NBA, if you're a player, you'd want a free market.
Well, and you just want to preserve all of your negotiating.
Now you might see the Knicks. What would happen with the Knicks? They would end up losing with even worse contracts because Dolan would just keep making bad moves.
Harper in 2019.
I'm joking, but not really. Like he would just
that's why when Torrey said that he has, he's
the Knicks are doing this.
Absolutely. The moment that he said he's going to look into them, I was like, they're fucked.
Yeah, it can't be good.
Could Dolan give him hush money?
I don't know if that would make it any better.
It's just further covering it up.
No, but what if it's his shell company?
No, if he had to pay him out of like the Sphere.
Yeah.
Or
there'll be a briefcase underneath the seat when he's watching the Beatles at the Sphere.
I mean, this is like literally like if you watch the movie Blue Chips, this is like the guy from Indiana coming outside of his house and they give him a tractor and then they give Shaq a car and Penny gets a house in month. Like this is what we're doing.
I'm getting Sopranos vibes from this.
It is a mafia move.
Yeah, the mobsters are doing no-show jobs at the construction site.
Seriously,
they're over there drinking beers, eating sandwiches, and Kawhi instead of planting trees, he's smoking trees.
Yeah, he plants a tree and gets $28 million.
Man, no, it is wild. And again, it seems like this has been going on for a minute. This happened yesterday. It got reported.
Yeah.
A lot has come out.
A lot has come out, and I mentioned it earlier. It seems like Ballmer is already on the damage control offense.
It would almost seem inevitably that there are more teams doing this.
So
without a doubt,
if you're Adam Silver and you
without
find
a
out,
shadow of it,
I can't say it's every team. There's probably not every team's doing it.
If you're Adam, I almost said Adam Sandler. If you're Adam Silver, do you just after you do your finding outs and all that, and find out more teams are doing it, do you give C. Ballmer just a slap on the wrist because you don't want to out everyone else?
I think
I don't know about that because I think the way that if it was a situation like that where there are other owners that could be implicated, I think at that point you kind of want to make an example out of one and then end it for the rest. So basically, he has to fall on his sword for that.
The NBA, I can't see them coming down softly in this situation. No. You can't. It's compromising the sport. Like if another team can give you a better deal on the side, like the Pacers probably don't do this.
Adam Silver said...
I don't know, but I would
Adam Silver said 6 years ago that the cardinal sin in the NBA is circumventing the salary cap.
That's a bad... It kind of defeats the whole purpose of the NBA.
Yeah, because there's no balance, there's no structure.
Of course, every major market is going to dominate in this situation because they have more money.
So what's the worst case scenario then? Does C. Ballmer lose his franchise?
I have no idea.
Something like that could happen.
I think that's worst case scenario.
But even the legal mechanisms of that are going to be something else.
Well, you have to prove his intent.
The owners, isn't like 2/3 of the owners have to approve of him losing his franchise.
Yeah, and I don't
what
see,
happened with Sterling.
But I don't see how
obviously Sterling is totally different.
A totally different scenario, and I don't know if the owners would do that just because, Ballmer's actually made the Clippers a profitable, much better run enterprise.
There's no doubt all the owners in the NBA.
They'd rather are
happy with Ballmer than freaking racist Sterling. Yeah. I mean,
so
Sterling was just the
reality is that I don't think that they would want to take any corrective action against him.
And if they're doing it as well.
If they're doing it.
If they're doing it as well.
On the flip side, if they they want to make an example out of somebody, or if they aren't doing it, then like somebody like the Lakers or any other like those teams, they'd be furious and they'd want blood.
Let's think about this. Who's a free agent recently that you could see kind of fall into this?
Jalen Brunson and the Knicks, 100%. He took less money, so the salary could allow the Knicks to sign his friends.
That one is a little different because it had to do with extensions. So he was taking a lesser extension now for shorter term, so you could take a longer extension later. So I'm not sure when he's saying that he's going to look into Brunson and the Knicks, the way I'm interpreting that, I'm looking at it from when he initially was leaving Dallas.
Yeah.
And coming to New York. So that's where I'm focusing.
They did sign his dad.
And the thing is, the Knicks have already been penalized by the NBA for that.
Yeah.
They didn't have a second-round pick in this year's draft. But
other teams doing it, I could see the Nets doing it when they had the Russian owner, when they signed KD, Kyrie, and then they eventually trade for James Harden. Because Kyrie and KD both took less money to go there.
Yeah.
And I think
been there, Mikhail Provorov. I don't.
Yeah.
See, like I don't
PRK.
I don't think the Pistons. First of all, who's the free agent that we're paying? There is nobody.
It'd be like the middle of a Malik Beasley, right?
I don't think Gore's is smart enough to do this either.
Yeah. So Pistons I don't see doing it. Other recent free agents. I mean, just think of any notable free agent that signed with a team that was kind of off the radar. You could almost look at Paul George going to the 76ers, knowing Joel Embiid is injured.
I think you got to look at teams, though, that obviously have, multiple stars.
Speaking of Paul George...
Because you got to work it so, maybe we're not making the same from the Clippers, but I make 30 from the Clippers, you make 60 from the Clippers, and then I make 30 from the Tree Company.
So
together we make 60 million.
Paul George did say that he wanted the Kawhi Leonard money. Paul George did say that, and maybe that was hint, because these players talk.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, there's no way
that... So Kawhi's like, hey, they can't offer you that, but hey, try to get, the $20 million from fucking...
It wouldn't shock me, though, if this was only Ballmer, though, because he has
so much money.
Well, and his background it's Microsoft. You would think he's always thinking outside of the box, trying to be innovative. Some of these owners, I don't know. Like Ballmer he does a test when he interviews people, and I thought it was amazing. You get 5 guesses, and it's 1 to 100. Guess the number, and if you get close, if you get the number, I'll give you the job. If you don't, if you choose not to do it, then we'll just do the interview. And if the person did it, he would basically not want to put them in a high position of making decisions, because you won't. If it's 1 out of 100, you only have 5 chances. That's not good odds. You're going to pick the number.
Yeah.
So he's thinking, if you're risk adverse, if it's that poor, I'm not going to put you in a really high level position where you're going to make a dumb decision like that. I thought it was actually a genius interview strategy, but him thinking that way, I'm he's trying to think of ways to get a championship with the Clippers, so he could be thinking of anything. I don't think Jeannie Butt. I'm not trying to be mean, but I don't think some of these owners are that creative.
Yeah, probably not.
I don't know. I can see the Lakers doing scandalous shit like that all the time. I mean, players go to LA for reasons to get extra endorsements, and the Lakers have those connections.
But the Lakers are a destination. The Clippers are
not.
I know they pay guys now, and guys go there, but
they weren't 20 years ago.
They're awful.
The Lakers don't need help.
Yeah, exactly. They're the Lakers. They have golden jerseys.
They are they're the glamour franchise of the NBA.
I don't think they have to pay LeBron an extra $50
Another
million.
owner that probably has done this in the past, the guy defending Steve Ballmer, Mark Cuban. Look at
he's smart. I could see him doing something
I
like
could see
that.
him doing it.
I could 100% see him doing
they had a surplus.
He's a
of
.com
talent.
guy too.
Yeah, he had a surplus of talent in that 2011, championship team. He offered DeAndre Jordan that contract. Obviously, then that conspiracy theory happened. Doc Rivers and Chris Paul locked him inside.
But see, I think this discussion begets the problem. Is that now it's a discussion point to where it's like...
Well, no, I'm already thinking about it. Like, if this didn't happen, does Kawhi stay in Toronto?
Yeah.
And then you can't... That changes the course of NBA history.
100%.
So that, by definition, the game is kind of tainted and soiled, almost in a way.
Yep.
I mean, again, I'll go back to college football because it's so freaking evident. The SEC, for the last 20 years, I think they won like 18 of the championships, minus Clemson, or maybe Ohio State like won one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was an SEC team every year. Immediately after, we have more, payment is more broad and everybody can pay now.
Now we're seeing
You're seeing more, it's not Georgia, Alabama. They don't look automatic, Michigan.
It's crazy.
Michigan won it. Like, I don't know. I don't think that's a coincidence.
It's
when
not,
you see this now, it's like other teams have a chance now. So has the integrity of the sport been compromised? And I think it might have.
I don't think,
to a degree.
I don't even think it's able to be debated. I think it is.
Yeah.
Because again, now we're going back. So if Kawhi doesn't go to the Clippers, that means Shea doesn't get traded for Paul George, and they're
it's a whole butterfly effect of things that have changed now because of that potentially.
But that's also where it comes in. Was this sweetheart deal in the first contract, or was this just in the second?
And it's really important too that it was Kawhi. Again, this is not like a no-name guy.
Yeah.
This is a guy at that
when
time
healthy.
when he was on that right. Like you could argue if he was on that team, we might win the championship. He was that type of player. So that's a bad look for the NBA. I mean, it's kind of like the White Sox scandal, Black Sox. I mean, not the same. They were dumping, but they were the better players of their time, and they were potentially were dumping.
Trying to find advantages.
Yeah, it's
when you're not allowed.
It's not great.
It's crazy. But yeah, that's essentially all I got. You guys want to add on anything else?
We'll be back next week.
We're back every week for
NFL and college football, so we'll be here. We'll see you guys next week. I'm John.
I'm Jesiah.
Faraz.
And we're the Club Rats. Remember to like, subscribe, comment. See you guys next week. Peace.